Hi, and welcome to part 2 of how to create a real estate AI voice agent and matching chatbot. In this part, we'll be walking through the chatbot setup using some of the same information that we went through in creating the AI voice agent with SendFlow, but this will be its own build. So there's a link in this document right here. If you click on where it says close bot setup, if you click on this right here, it's going to open up this Google Doc, and we will actually be using this to walk through and create our chatbot. So first things first, if you do not have an account for CloseBot, there's a link in the description. That is an affiliate link, so that does help out us and the channel, but it's the exact same price as if you went to the regular company. So anyway, if you're walking through this setup, I have screenshots as well as the exact labels for what you'll be looking at. So I have general, integrate, detect. So everything that you'll actually see in the software itself, I have screenshots of, and this is an SOP of how to set up a chatbot in general, and I'll be using this to set up a chatbot with CloseBot for real estate to match the AI voice agent that we had. Now, the purpose of this, as we dive into the software here, if you don't have an account, you would create an account first, and then I will start from right here with A to Z creation. So the purpose of this is if people are calling in, and let's say that they texted that same phone number, now they can have a conversation with a chatbot. You could use this on a website. You could have a number on a sign. You could have a prompt. You know, if you want to learn more about this house, text the word, whatever words you'd like to use to this phone number. So there are unlimited possibilities with chatbots, but when you have an AI voice agent and a chatbot attached to the same phone number, that means people can now text and call that number, and that can be handled 24/7, 365 without taking your time. So let's go ahead and dive into actually walking through setting one up. So I'll go ahead and start right here. I'll click on plus. We're not going to actually use this template, but I'll just go ahead and select this to get started, and then now we're going to go ahead and name this. So I'm going to leave the name exactly as it is. We'll leave the chatbot's name as Sam, and then we'll jump back over into our Google Doc and start actually walking through setting things up. Now, if you've never done this before or you don't like the prompts that I'm using, you can use this for the exact AI voice agent prompt that we built earlier within SendFlow that is in the other document that I referenced. That link will be below. But that document that we used in part 1 for that entire build, you could use that information and then run that prompt through these ChatGPT prompts to actually get the information that you want. But I would encourage you to follow along with what I have here in this document, just because it's modified directly from what comes from CloseBot. And having worked with CloseBot reps setting up these chatbots, I think this is the best way to do this. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive in. So in general, we have the naming convention. You can do whatever you want here. If you're doing this for a client, I'll usually just do their niche and the client's business name. If this is for yourself, or if you're setting this up for your brokerage or your agency, you can name it whatever you want to. So I have the bot name. Then we're going to actually be moving on to this section right here. So we have 17 seconds delay response, frequency of AI typos, and then frequency of breakup, larger message. So I'll go ahead and walk through exactly what this means. So first things first, I'll go ahead and just put 17 seconds here. Now this response delay means so once their message has come in, you've received the message within your CRM software, Go High Level, whatever else that you're using. Once that message comes in, how long does the AI voice agent take not to start its reply, but to actually send its reply? Because it's not going to have to sit there and text like you and I do. So we'll make sure that's on 17. Frequency of AI typos, I'm just going to go ahead and put this at 1. This is basically just like if you and I were texting and you misspelled something and then you sent back, the asterisk with the correct spelling. That's exactly what this does. It seems extremely human. A lot of the clients that we've had that have been hesitant to use chatbots in the past, when they start using this and they see all the features and all the capabilities that it has, that they're blown away with how real this feels when you're actually communicating with it. Frequency, breaking up larger messages. This is if it's going to send a paragraph, do you want it to go from a paragraph to maybe 2 medium-sized messages? That's really a preference thing. It just depends on what you want. And then I'm going to go ahead and move my little bubble here. Prohibited words, I'm going to go ahead and just leave that list empty. That is totally fine. Let's go ahead and save this. This is different than when you're setting up something in SendFlow. SendFlow, obviously, you have to type it in, then it saves it automatically. Here, I need to actually make sure that I'm clicking save. So we're going to come back to this whenever we actually have a calendar integrated conversational rescheduling. I'll hit on that more later, but that's something I would definitely recommend using. Okay, so I already have our Go High Level account integrated with this CloseBot as a whole, but I'm going to go ahead and click on add new, and then we'll actually select the specific sub account that I want to use. So it's going to have me log in. So I'll pause this here. I'll log into Go High Level, and then I'll actually show you what it looks like to select the account that you'd like to use. So I've logged into my Go High Level, and now I'll actually just go ahead and select the specific sub account that I'd like to use. So I'll just go ahead and default to one of our agency accounts here. This will make sure that the integration happens, and then from here, I can actually move forward with building the chatbot now that I'm integrated directly with Go High Level. So now we can see that this sub account is integrated directly with the CloseBot account here to build the chatbot. And then now we're going to go ahead and pop back over to the general setting. And again, if you're following along in the document, let me close some things out here. We are right here. So we just went to the integrate step, and then now we'll be coming back over here looking at the detect step. Okay, so popping back over here, leave conversations as unread, meaning if the chatbot is the one that answers the conversation, do you want that to look like it's been read or unread? This can help if you have a lot of team members that are hopping in and out so you can keep track of things. I'll go ahead and leave that off. Conversational rescheduling, we have to do the calendar integration for that. Bot off on manual reply. This means if I hop in there and I wanted to go ahead and reply before the chatbot or take them out of the workflow that involves the chatbot or add a tag that would get them out of any responses from the chatbot, then I can go ahead and turn this on. It's really up to you. It just depends on exactly what the client wants or what you want specifically. So I'll go ahead and turn that on, and then we'll come back to these other ones here in just a little bit. Okay, moving on to the detect step. So we have general, we have some settings here, and then this detect step, which is right here. So again, these are title case. So you can just go ahead and click through these and set up exactly what I'm doing here by following along. So the detect step, I'm going to go ahead and do a couple different things. Number one, contact saying goodbye. I will turn this on. This is basically like if you can tell that someone's wrapping up a texting conversation. I don't know if you've ever had this happen. I've had it happen countless times. You send back like a, okay, thanks, that's great, talk to you later. And they keep responding like, hey, sounds great, have an awesome day. Thanks, you too. No problem. And like, you don't know when to end the conversation. So you don't want that to happen with the chatbot because it gets weird. They booked an appointment. It sends them the appointment time. The person says, hey, thanks. And then it messages back, you're welcome. Let us know if you need anything else. And they're like, okay, we'll do. The chatbot messages back again. You don't want that to happen. So make sure you go ahead and click on this one, contact saying goodbye. It's not something that we used to do, but we've noticed that it works a lot better with that being on. You can turn on anything you would like to here. Contact likely another bot. That way you're not paying for, it's minute charges, but paying for a bot to go back and forth with another bot. It really depends on what you want to do. And then this one I like to turn on, contact reached end of objectives. Basically meaning it did everything that it's supposed to. Now objectives will make sense as we get further into the objectives tab in the setup, but I would definitely turn this on. So go ahead and turn all that on, click on save. I'm not going to do any of the custom scenarios down at the bottom here. There are things that you can build out with that, and if you want to look at CloseBot YouTube videos, they have a ton of detailed explanations for this. But I'll go ahead and move on to main, and then now I want to come back over to my tab, and I want to type in, go to main here, set up main, caring, friendly, professional. Okay, I'll come back into my CloseBot account. I'm going to get rid of relaxed, and I will just type in caring, friendly, and then I don't know why unprofessional is an option, but we want to type in professional. Okay, I'll go ahead and click on that. I don't know why anyone would want their tone to be unprofessional, but so we'll go ahead and click on that. We'll put that in, and now we're actually getting into the primary documentation that will be training the chatbot. Now we're going to have a knowledge base that I'll talk about later, but this is actually basically telling the chatbot why it's having the conversation, what it should know about the business, and then how to respond during this conversation. So if you're looking for tonality, how it feels overall, not what its objectives are, so not what it's trying to accomplish, but just kind of a backstory. Like if I was a brand new employee and it's my first day on the phones or first day replying to messages, emails, and you're just letting me know, hey, look, here's kind of the customers that we deal with, and then here I want you to respond. Make sure you do this, don't do this. Always answer this question this way. And then also if they ask anything about our business, here's kind of some general information, just kind of some basic knowledge. That's what you're putting in here. So I'll go ahead and refer back to the document. We're going to go to the main setup right here. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and just kind of walk through why these are the way they are. So let's go ahead and zoom in on this, and I will walk through this. So why is this happening? You're a fund receptionist at, so that's rep's name, so Sam in this case, for location name. Now, really quick, let me take pause here. If your CRM, if your Go High Level or whatever you're using that you're integrating this with, because it integrates directly with the webhook, it's very simple. But if I'm integrating this with a CRM and the business name is different than my account name in that CRM, then you want to make sure you actually fill this in with whatever you would like it to say. So it's going to save this in text messages. So if you have the CRM name, like let's say my Go High Level account, let's say it was Keller Williams Incorporated Group LLC, like all this other stuff, it's going to put that right here in location name. I want to make sure that I have whatever I want it to put there, or I just change the name of my sub account. So just a little, little quick tip there. Anyway, So for location name, and then location name, this business offers, you would put your products and services here. So assistance in, helping first-time home buyers or whatever, helping real estate investors, whatever that is. At lead name, leave that. That's going to, if their name's John, it's going to put that in there. So this person responded to a Facebook ad about our offer. You would put in whatever the offer was. So whether that's, 5% off on your first mortgage, or whatever you're doing there, you would put that offer here on our whatever your offer is, and is interested in learning more about blank, learning more about investment properties, learning more about first-time homebuyer options, learning more about mortgages, learning more about refinancing, whatever your offer is, whatever you specialize in, or booking an appointment for insert whatever there. At lead name, let's say the lead's name is John, may have quite a few questions, or be ready to schedule and just needs available dates and times. So I'll go ahead and copy this, come back over into CloseBot, get rid of this, paste this in. I would go ahead and fill out all that information, and I'll save it. A couple quick things here as we walk through this main setup. You're going to notice that I'm not using all the characters. Why would you not want to use them all? Wouldn't you want to maximize it? No. I've talked to CloseBot reps that help people set these up all the time. Less is more. I want to give it all of the information that it needs, but I don't want to give it unnecessary information that's going to bog it down. So if I was training an employee, I want to give them just enough to do their job. I don't want to give them, okay, here's your role, and then here's also my role in the company, and then here's, if they answer this, you could always say this, like, I don't want to give them so many options that now they get confused. A confused person is a person that does not make good decisions. So make sure that you keep that in mind as you're going through this. Now for this next one, the company name is blank, and you help people outcome or goal that the business delivers. You help people buy their first home. You help people refinance their home. You help people purchase investment properties. You help people sell their home in less than 90 days without a commission basis for a flat rate. Whatever that is, you can put that here. Location name works with, let it know the specific type of person that you work with, the demographic. If you only work with, a certain age group, then let it know. Location name has serviced, number of people, hundreds, thousands, whatever it is. You've been in business 9 years in this area, and has a staff that are incredible to work with. Company is local and well trusted in the community. So we want to take all of this. I'll go ahead and you can modify this. This is just a template. Everything in red is something that would be safe to edit. Everything else I would just leave as is unless you really know what you're doing here, or you've tested other stuff that you would rather use. So I'll go ahead and save this. Again, we'll look at the character count here. You could beef this up a little bit, but I like to rely on the knowledge base when it comes to really making this more robust as far as information. Now look here. We used just over a third of the characters available to us. That's fine. We want to leave that. Okay, next we'll go ahead, how to respond. This one I like. It's very straightforward, but don't use their name too much. So you probably had a conversation and you're messaging back and forth, and they're like, hey, John, yeah, we can get you scheduled, John. What time works best for you, John? Just let us know. And you're like, what in the world? So we want to make sure that's not happening, so it feels a little less formal, a little more laid back, real casual, like a person. Answer any questions they may have about our service or a current new offer, and ask if they're looking to schedule an appointment. So it's always going to answer a question, go back to scheduling, answer a question, go back to scheduling until they say, leave me alone, no, I don't want to schedule, or they schedule. Until one of those three things happen, more or less, based on this and the objectives that we'll put together, that's how things are going to roll. If that person does not want to schedule an appointment, if they do want to schedule, begin by asking if mornings or afternoons generally work better for them. That just sounds like this. Hey, John. Okay, great. Yeah, we'll look at the calendar. What works better for you, mornings or afternoons? Okay, we're going to go ahead and we built this out by building a bunch of different chatbots, AI voice agents, and then also just by having, years of experience in marketing, but also I've literally booked probably upwards of, 500 to 1,000 personal meetings between agency sales back when I was an employee, all kinds of other stuff that I've done. So I've seen that, generally speaking, offering a couple dates and a couple times works great after you've asked what works better for you, mornings or afternoons, and then is there a specific day of the week that works best for you when it comes to them coming into a business or meeting you somewhere. So the next thing that we'll do is we will walk through, go ahead to click on set up objectives, and now we will set this up, and I'll walk through this in a very detailed fashion and make sure we collect all their information and then take it through exactly what we want it to do step by step after it's grabbed their contact information. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So as we get into setting up the objectives, here's exactly what this is going to look like. The objectives are basically saying this. You're going to take this objective first and then move on from left to right. So you're going to accomplish thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, thing 4, and going to accomplish these things in order. So the first thing that I want this to do is I want it to actually collect their contact information. So I'll go ahead and click on email, and then I am just going to label this get email. You could say collect, you could say whatever you want, you could leave it. Okay, I'll go ahead and click on skip if it's already been filled out. So if you got a Facebook lead or if they opted in on a form on your website and you already have this information, it's not going to go ahead and duplicate that and try to collect it again. That would just annoy people. I'll go ahead and put max attempts 2. This is a gather info step. Later on at the end, we'll move on to appointment confirmation, where it will be giving information to the person having this conversation. Leave the sensitivity on all of these at 50. I've been told not to touch that by several people, so just leave that as it is. I'm not going to change anything here because all it's trying to do is get their email. It's going to be very casual about it. It's not going to be a pain. It's not going to say, hey, we can't move forward at all until this will be very good. So I'll go ahead and click on close. I'll save. Now the next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and just do name and phone number, the exact same process, and then we'll actually move on to the rest of the objectives in the document here. So we'll do phone number, and I will just say get phone, turn this on, 2 attempts, skip, leave this at 50, go ahead and save this, and we'll do name, and then we'll move on to the first objective after it has collected their contact information. Okay, great, we'll go ahead and do name, and then we're done. Name, there we go. All right, get name, turn this on, Perfect, and again, about 90% of the leads that you're going to have messaging, and if they're messaging, you probably already have this information, but this is good to collect. That way you can actually follow up, especially if they're coming in through like a chat widget on a website or something else. Okay. Again, always create contact information first, and then tell it to skip over that if it already has it. Okay, next thing we'll do, short description, title, exact prompt or extra prompt, excuse me. I'll go ahead and walk through these. So first objective is to discover if they have questions or if they're just looking to schedule. So if you and I hopped on a phone call or a text message and you start, hey, I'm so-and-so, I'm interested in this. Hey, great. Do you have any questions? Or are you just looking to schedule an appointment to do a walkthrough with that house? Are you looking to schedule an appointment to see if you qualify for a mortgage for that house? Are you looking to schedule an appointment to get some questions answered about possibly buying some investment properties, that sort of thing? So I want to make sure that that is the first prompt. So I'll come in here, and the short description goes right here, okay? So I'll paste this right here, and then I'll move on to the title. I'm just going to call this Discover Intent, because that's all I'm looking to do here. I just want to figure out why they've messaged in and how we can best serve them. Extra prompt, answer only questions they ask. So this is not going to answer a question and give a bunch of unnecessary information. We learned that the hard way through building these. So I'll go ahead and do max attempts of 2 here, and then I'm going to leave this at none. Keep it on gather info 50 for the sensitivity. Click on close. Perfect. Okay. So that first one is done. Second objective, exact same thing. I have a short description, a title, and then an extra prompt. I'll go through, I'll fill these out the exact same way. And the way that I'll do this is I will go ahead and copy this. I'll come in here and I'm going to click on this right here. Okay. So again, going from left to right, I'm not going vertically up and down on anything else other than collecting contact information. So this one's going to be book an appointment, and we walk through this guy right here, book an appointment, and this will be, okay. And this one, we are actually going to have to change to this right here. Not sure. Oh, hold on. Okay, we have our entire prompt to follow for this guy right here for booking an appointment. We want to make sure that whole thing is in there. We'll just walk through this real quick. So follow these steps below when setting an appointment. Before offering specific times, ask them are mornings or afternoons generally better for you. And if you put asterisks and then quotations, it's going to use that word track exactly or something very similar to that. So it's pretty important if you're looking for specific word tracks when it's asking questions. Again, same thing here. Next, begin narrowing it down by days of the week to ask, again, asterisks, word tracks. Very important. From here, begin offering specific appointment times within 7 days whenever possible, and then verify the number that they are messaging with right now is best for the appointment reminders. Okay, so that's where that's going to go. Before we actually go ahead and finish this one, I'm going to go ahead and do max attempts, leave this here, and then we're actually going to come down to the calendar AI booking. So we'll have to put all this back in. Totally fine. I'm going to go ahead and click on Other. Okay. And then I'm going to put my calendar ID in here. So I'm going to go ahead and refill all this in, and then I'll show you exactly where to find the calendar ID. That way you can make sure that Go High Level is scheduling them with the exact calendar that you want them to be in. All right, so I hopped in to Go High Level. I'm going to go ahead and click on calendar settings, and then this is very simple. All I have to do is grab whatever calendar I want and then click on this right here. So where it says ID, then there's always this really weird looking number with numbers and letters mixed. I'll click on copy here. It's going to say copy to clipboard. Awesome. I'll come back over here in CloseBot. I will paste this in, and then I will click on close. Okay, go ahead and save that. And then now when I pop back in there, it's going to show the exact calendar name that was associated with that number. Follow-up appointments. Awesome. And now I can switch this. So now it's integrated directly with all the calendars in that sub account, and I'll go ahead and select whichever one I want, or I'll just leave it on the exact one that I use the ID for. Okay, so now it's going to make 2 attempts to book an appointment, and then if it doesn't, it's going to go ahead and basically just give up, and it didn't reach its objective, no problem. If they weren't looking to schedule, they weren't looking to schedule. Now you can mess with this. You can take it off max attempts, so it can just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. You could change this number. You can make it 4, you can make it 5, 3, whatever. Just do whatever you'd like to do there. I would encourage usually 2 to 3, because anything else gets kind of a little like pesterish, like leave me alone. So if they want to schedule, they will. If not, you can follow up with them manually or create automations for the AI voice agent to do that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to this right here. This one's very important. We are going to confirm the appointment. So this seems very natural. They booked an appointment and you're like, all right, John, so, just want to confirm, I'm going to see you at this place at this day, this time for this purpose, okay? That's exactly what we're doing here. Now, the difference between this and all the other prompts, you'll notice this purple will switch to green. I'm going to make this a give info step. So all the other ones were collecting information, collecting the appointment time, collecting their name, phone number, email, collecting why they were reaching out, all that sort of stuff. This one is going to be to give information. So I'll go ahead and put this here. Okay, verify all appointment information is correct by repeating it back to the lead and then asking if everything looks correct. So basically re-saying, hey, look, this is when we're going to meet. Does that sound great? Okay. We're going to go ahead and just say repeat and confirm the scheduled appointment. And again, you can set these however you'd like to. I've seen this work super well across a variety of different niches. We've used this for people who are booking in the calendar for like a Zoom meeting. We've also used this for people who are booking for an in-person coming into a chiropractic office or going into whatever, you name it, brokerage. So okay, I'll go ahead and do gather info. Again, didn't use all the characters, not a big deal. This is set up to basically just start by asking, all right, so we've got you in, we've got that appointment scheduled for, go ahead and fix the typo here, scheduled. And then we'll move on to kind of finishing setting this up and getting the integration done. Okay, click on close, save. You'll notice again, the other ones are all purple. This one's green. We're going to move on to the knowledge. Okay, so let's talk about the knowledge base. Now for the knowledge base, I'm going to actually not click here. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the knowledge storage, and then now I'll actually upload something. So text input is the best. You can use a PDF, you can upload it, you can use a website, and that'll kind of use it as reference. I like to do the text upload. What I'll do is I'll actually go into a Google Doc. I will make a list of frequently asked questions or all the information that I want, and then I'll put that in here. Going back to earlier with the AI voice agent, let me go ahead and click into this right here, walking through the K-base, which is just like the listings overview. This is what this should look like. If you're listing properties and you're not doing an API integration where this can go back and forth and fetch information real time, then here's what I would do. I would have a description of the property. I would have the address, a detailed description, and then frequently asked questions. What school district serves this home? Here's the answer. What square footage? And the way this will actually look is I'll go ahead and put this here, and then I would just say question. I would type this out, and then I would say answer. I would type this out. And you could do, question number 1. And then I would go through and I would do that over and over and over again, all the information that you want in there. You could also go to a website and you could tell ChatGPT, scrape all the information off this website and compile me a list of 30, 40, 50 frequently asked questions and their answers. If you just say frequently asked questions, it will just give you the questions without the answers. Frequently asked questions and their answers, or give me general company information, all that kind of stuff. You would name everything very clearly. That way I could come back in here and delete or change things as needed. And then I will go ahead and let's just say that we have something here. Okay, I'll go ahead and load this. It's going to actually load it into the knowledge base library. And then when I come back into modify bot, I'll click on knowledge. And then now I can highlight exactly which one I wanted to use. Perfect. So that's the one that I want to use. Anything you highlight here will be used for it to answer questions, not based on what was here when we set up, set up all this. This is its tone, how it does its job, what not to do. This is where it's pulling its information from. So if it's getting some wonky answers, then you might want to either go in and update this, redo it, get rid of it, or make sure that you have the proper one selected. So I'll go ahead and save that. Lastly, here we have follow-ups, smart follow-ups. Smart follow-ups allow you to schedule on its own follow-up. So basically, if someone says, hey, can you reach out to me today at 3? You don't want to have an automation set up to where it does all this, like it'll just take care of it, okay? I'll click on save. And then now that we have everything integrated, I'm going to come back to general, detect, all this stuff, just kind of do a final walkthrough, make sure everything's good to go. I would read through this very carefully to make sure there's no typos. And then all of this is good to go. Contact information, discover intent, book an appointment, repeat. And then again, just double check everything is good to go. And then now I'll go ahead and come back into this document and we will actually integrate this with our software. Yeah, you can use either one of these. There's a document here that's actually on CloseBot's website to walk you through setting this up, but I'll just kind of truncate that for you. I'm going to grab one of these webhooks. You can use this one right here if you have clients that you're setting this up for. Maybe you're charging a couple $100s a month. You don't know, you don't want them to know the hosting fees of the software that you're using, which again, nothing wrong with that. This is massively valuable to never have to answer a text ever again or miss call text back and then automation, whatever that is. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab my webhook right here, whichever one I want to use. They both work the exact same way. I'll come in and Go High Level. I'll take my workflow. After I named it, I'll go ahead and I'm just going to do customer replied. So that is my trigger, customer replied, and I will just say SMS line chatbot. So this is exactly what's going to happen in here. I like to name things clearly so I know exactly what's going on just at a glance, because when you get a lot of workflows, you can get lost. So I'll go ahead and click on this right here, and then I will just do webhook. Okay. And then I will just say CloseBot or chatbot webhook, and then I'll click on save. So now, anytime someone replied to anything, okay, it's going to execute that webhook and have a conversation. So if it's a Facebook message, anything else, anything that you're integrated with this account, it will start replying. So I'm going to go ahead and be specific. I will just say customer replied, reply channel, and then now I can get customized with this. Chat widget, email, Facebook Messenger, GMB messaging, which I believe has been sunset. I don't think that's still a thing. Instagram DM, live chat, SMS is what we're going to use this for. But you can literally select anything you want to. And if I wanted to build a different chatbot for each of these purposes, then I could do that, or I could just leave this blank and it would reply to any incoming messages that happen within this account. I'll go ahead and save this, make sure this is published. If you wanted to test this, you can. I could go ahead and test the phone number, text it associated with this account, and then get that reply and then walk through and see exactly, did I like the way it replied? How can I tweak things between the main tab over here and then my knowledge base to make sure that things are exactly like I want them to be. So I would encourage you to mess around with this. If you're looking to do a chat widget, that's very simple as well. And I have videos on our YouTube channel for how to set that up as well. So anyway, that is the end of this video. If you have any questions, put those in the comments down below. If you'd like to book a discovery call and either have this done for you, or you just need some help, or maybe you'd like to use the software and you want it set up, and we can do that for a low monthly subscription. And it's not going to be super costly. We'll set everything up for you, and you can even white label this and use it for your clients. But anyway, hopefully this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.